if you would just take out that crystal ball that I'm sure you have somewhere around you, and you would look into it and say, okay, in 12 months time, what do you see the outcome in the bigger perspective? And I'm not only talking about the business world. I mean, what's going to happen to family? What do you see as a result of this whole thing? Because we are all interconnected, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And thank you for calling me on it, because, you know, in theory, this is a business book. Well, yeah, kinda. It's a business book, but it's also a relationship book. It's also a spiritual book. It's a unifying concept that's been presented under the guise of business and with that context of business, because that's what a lot of people relate to. And I see that there's a strong need in that area. But frankly, just imagine what your life would be like if you recognize what anybody wants from you is to just feel a little bit better about themselves. And frankly, they can't make you feel better about you until you make them feel better about them. So what if you started reaching out to people with that mindset, with that perspective, knowing that everything you give comes back to you tenfold, not necessarily from the exact same person, because they might be in a state of panic. They might not be ready to be a follower. They might not be in a position to reflect back for you the things you need to hear. And you have to be perceptive enough and proud of yourself enough to say, hey, I stepped up and I was there for someone. I was present for someone, even when they couldn't be present for me. So you can show up and really be present for these people, and when it's appropriate, ask if they're ready for your perspective. And if they are, they're eager for it and they're willing to pay for it. They really want to engage with you on an ongoing basis. And how do they pay for it? With emotional currency, with relationship currency, with influence currency, and financial currency. They make you feel like $1 million. So yeah, it can transform your entire world. If you take this on, you will see a difference today in your relationships right now. And you will see a transformation in your business within about 2 months. It's pretty exciting.
So just by, as an example, you set yourself the intention or the goal in the beginning of the day that you're gonna make 5 people, I'm just giving a number because you say 5%. So 5 people, I'm gonna make 5 people feel good about themselves today. That could be something that would actually make the change for you, which is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
Could I share one more thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little more training. So you want to be present for someone. In fact, you want to be present for everybody you meet. It's great to set a number of 5 people, but I would challenge you to step up and be present for every single person you encounter. Because you think your life is just business and just home and just spiritual and just private. It's not. Everything's interconnected, everything's interwoven. So the better you can show up across the board, the better everything does. So you show up being fully present for someone else. And first of all, that means you are aware of where their attention is. Because wherever their attention is where they're going to go. And whatever they're focusing on is where they're going to go. That might not be the direction they want to go in. It's really well known that when they're teaching race car drivers to drive really, really fast speeds, they tell them always look where you want the car to go. Don't look at the big tree. Don't look at the other car. Look where you want to go, because that's where you're going to go. And too often people are distracted. They're not focusing on the right thing. So first, get awareness for yourself of where their focus is. Then call attention to the fact that you see where their focus is and ask them if that's really where they want their focus to be. If it is, if they just want to have a pity party, okay, you can listen, right? You can be present for them, but you want them to get where they truly want to go. So you can ask for clarity. Is this really where you want to be? No, that's not where I want to be. Okay, so let's focus on where you truly want to be. Then you acknowledge them for all of the things that they have brought to the party. Because so often people think that they're there with empty pockets, and they're not. You walk in the door with the skills that you have, with the resources that you have, with the connections that you have. And so often you think it's all on you, and it's not. You got to get out of that panic mode and into that follower and leader mode, and that's when things really happen. So you start with awareness, then attention, then acknowledge, and then you have a chance to move on. If they're willing to hear your perspective, you go into appreciate the opportunities that are present for them and suggest one action step, just one. Because people are so distracted, you can't tell them more than one thing at a time. If you can tell them just one thing to do, and they do it and they see the results, and you can tell them this is how you know you did it right, they'll get that momentum going. So I really invite you to be present for every single person in your life today. See if you can step up and be there for them first. And I know you've got the same needs, and sometimes your husband, your daughter, your coworker can step up for you, and sometimes they can't. But if you can be there for them today, believe me, word spreads like wildfire, and it will come back to you 10 times over from a variety of different locations.
The boomerang effect.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.